feels like the world spinning out of control. Oh wait, it is hurling through vastness, this dark abyss. I crawl home. I just wanna feel something again. Anything will do to break my heart open tonight. Let me feel what it feels like to feel what it feels like to feel something again. I don't wanna be numb, numb from the hate, numb from the pain, numb from the heart that just won't break. So break and break, break and break.
Good morning. Checking the mic. Hello.
I just wanna feel something again. Anything will do to break my heart open tonight. Let me feel what it feels like to feel what it feels like to feel something again. I just wanna feel something again. Anything will do to break my heart open tonight.
All right, so I'll give it a little time for people to get in here. No rush to start. Let some people get in here. Good morning.
To feel something again.
Owen. I'm doing well. I stopped eating carbs and I feel great. I figured out what was making me feel like shit. Not that you asked. Actually, you did ask. Bitcoin, yeah, we'll take a look. Discount. That's the thing about Bitcoin. You know, if you miss your chance, it gives you more chances, doesn't it? It always comes back and says, hey, I'll go on sale for you right now. Cut down the carbohydrates in your diet. I'm on day 3. I feel so much better.
I have not found my chosen path. You see, it isn't tricky like math. I put all my faith into God's hands. One day I'll find my promised land. Just believe in life and then you can.
All carbs. That's practically what I was doing. No carbs. Zero. Unless you want a bread sandwich and some pasta with potato sauce. It's practically how I was eating. Yeah, I'm going pretty extreme for like 2 weeks just to do it. Basically, I'm having protein and salad. And like, smoothies. That's it. That is it. Yeah, I went a little crazy. I was just eating whatever I wanted for a while. And I saw myself on camera and I saw my gut. That's what did it. I'm like, no, I'm not going to, no. I see where this is going. Yeah, 2 weeks. That's all. It's not like a terrible diet, really. That's not a bad diet. Because, protein in a salad. It's really fine. It's not torture. Got some avocado. Water. Yes, right now. Definitely. I haven't had this much energy in a while. I figured out the problem, why I was so tired. I'm not reacting good to that. Anyway, if you're tired and you're eating a lot of carbs, try cutting it out. Might work.
We have evolved into this night, like a dream into a dry, like the ocean's breathing tides. We will break, we will wake, we will rise. It's never enough, it's never alright.
All right. Well, London Open isn't for another 45 minutes. I'll start in a few, but I want to try to make this as educational as possible today.
Like our decay has become time, to the weight of the weight will resign. I will call you from inside. When you come, I will cry. It's never enough, it's never alright. We wear the weight of the world tonight. It's never enough, but it's yours.
What I need is people to ask questions. See, I'm going to try to make a video today that, it'll still be 2 hours or whatever, but that I can point people to who are kind of, have a lot of those usual questions. I want to try to get as many of those questions answered in this video. So throw questions at me. I already know because I get asked, I have a good sense. It's kind of like what you need to know to because I know, like, really what it comes down to it at this point, I have like 3 different trading methods. I have the regular main method, Scalp, which are based on the same things, but the entries are different and this and that. And you can't start mixing them up. So then you have the scalp, and then also swing trading, which I only do on cryptos. Again, they're all based on the same thing. Once you learn the tool set, you get all three, and they make sense. But they're definitely different, and people may be confusing the entries on that, what's what, and so to clarify like the basics of each one. Stuff like that. I have my energy back. Oh my God. Something told me to do this. I think somebody mentioned, like, you know, the no carb or extremely low carb diet. I'm like, yes, that. Let me try that. Day 3. It's amazing. I thought I was just getting old and wasn't sleeping good and I don't know what. Things that I want to do, I'm like, but I'm always tired. I've been eating like shit, that's all. Problem solved. Yeah, I really underestimated it. Yep. I'm like, I'm sure it's not helping, but, you know, how bad can it be affecting me? I know it's not helping, but whatever. No, it was bad. That's why I keep bringing it up. It's just such a difference. 3 days. Holy shit. My body felt so heavy. The thing is, I've always been thin. No matter what I ate, I didn't get fat. I'm one of those people. But the danger in that is, okay, so I can eat whatever I want? Okay. So you start eating terrible. Yeah, sugar. Yep. I wanted to buy some Twizzlers today. I didn't do it. I want to see how extreme I can get and how long I can do it for. Just to see. I'll play some basketball in the park now. The weather's getting nice. Starting to feel like an old man. Come on. I'm turning 45 next month. It's nothing. NBA players playing into their 40s. Nick, same deal. No carbs sorted me out. I'd love to go through some scalps if you can. Yep. Yeah, I'm going to go through stuff today. The point of this video, I'm just taking my time because I want people to get in here. I should start, though. The point is to try to cram in as much stuff in this video so I can kind of point people to the video for the basics. Try to get it all in here. There's only so much I could do, obviously. But questions are good. And I'll do whatever I can think of. Scalps are so easy. You won't believe how easy it is. You're going to say, that's it? That's reliable enough to do? But the conditions have to be right. And once you know how to spot them, and some of the little details and what's right and what's not right. I'll try to clarify that. Again, there are the courses which are more complete and hours long. And there's the Scalp course. But we have the Discord, and people want to learn. I'll put this out there. Okay, good, yeah. Yeah, it'll be on later. All right. Where's my popper stopper? All right, let's get going. See what's going on today before we get to everything. Checking the news. See what news we have first today. Thursday, March 25th. So the big news is, the only high impact news is just over an hour from now. SNB monetary policy assessment for the Swiss franc. So that's the only high impact. I don't know how much that's going to create volatility all around. I don't trade this Swiss franc much anyway. The chef, as it's called. Light Euro news in an hour and a half. Light Euro, medium Euro. So in 2 hours from now is the medium impact stuff. Euro, pound, Canada. 2 hours from now. That's good. Keep things moving before New York, hopefully. And New York is listed as medium impact GDP today. At the usual time, there's some FOMC member speeches after that. 10, 10:30, 12 New York time. They're listed as light impact. There's a whole bunch of speeches on them. But nothing major. Really got to look out in 2 hours from now. And then the usual U.S. Open time. Basically that. Do the charts. Good morning, good morning. So where are we? Let's back out. Let's start from the top. Applying the method. Daily chart. The reason I'm looking at the daily chart is really just very simple structure and support, resistance, and fips. I'm not really worried too much about the volume here. We'll get to the detail on that in the lower time frames. So do we have a trend? Do we have a range? We have a trend structure, downtrend, lower lows, lower highs. That's the first thing I'm looking at. Second of all, what is the momentum in this trend? Has it stalled? Is it very strong? And it seems pretty strong. Yesterday closed into new low ground. It is not stalling or anything like that. It did a little double top and continued. So nothing bullish going on here as far as a fake breakout or anything like that. Now, of course, there would have to be large demand for us to consider buying, right, based on this situation. Let's also see. I guess I want my magnet. So seeing that we clearly broke the 618, it did an overshoot initially, that usual pattern. But now that we're down here and yesterday closed down here, consider that fib done. And as I say, if you're going to actually break that 618 for real, 618 overshoot and really keep going, very likely going to support. The one that you drew the fib from. Oh, really, Owen? Forex Factory has a page for crypto news. I think we'll be okay. Go through the analysis. So that's really all I'm going to get from the daily chart. Let's get into some more detail. But we're bearish unless we're seeing some very large demand. We're staying bearish and looking at short. The usual stuff, of course, is there could be up moves and weakness. Should I have marked that support? It probably doesn't matter anymore. That was the original 618 overshoot, right? Yeah. Yeah, support turn resistance. It is actually behaving that way still. It is still respecting that support turn resistance, support and a resistance again. So I do want to keep that. What level is that? Whatever. Okay, so now, what broker am I on? FXCM. Okay, so looking at the volume, let's get in context. So again, we're bearish unless we're seeing some very large demand. The higher volume points yesterday, Wednesday, did show some buying into this area. We wouldn't call it climactic, but the high volume points that were yesterday was showing some demand in here. It did break that later and really accept those lower prices. But again, here, maybe some buying. And this is the kind of stuff that's going to maybe have me be less aggressive in shorting and looking for higher prices and weakness if we are seeing some demand here. It doesn't mean I really want to buy unless we see more of a proper bottom form. So the 5-minute looking at again yesterday, those low prices, right? Low prices tell you about buyers. And what time was this? Here's the London Open. It kind of London Open hit with the spike that usually happens into these lower prices, but we did get this off the low. Yeah, sort of a mix. See, the weakness came in here, and then once we retested the support, even though it was late, it was like it wasn't even there. So we ended off still weak in this downtrend. Here again, a bit of demand during Asia. And what level is that? That's into new low ground, which really, really tells you about buyers. Initially here, not much, and then we got that. So we might be lucky with this demand to get a nice up move and some weakness at a nice predictable level. It's not something that I would aggressively chase short at the moment because of this bit of demand, signs of demand here and there. Now, if it breaks through and the demand is not showing up, it's like a real breakout, then it's, more likely trending down. If we're getting down into here, we're not seeing demand. And there could be a scalp entry in that case. But more of the traditional entry is if we can move up. So either way, we have that option. If we move up, we're looking for weakness and the traditional, weakness in a downtrend kind of thing at our levels. So in this environment, those are the two options, right? Pullback and weakness, which will mark up some more areas, or continuing down, not seeing enough demand to say this is going to be moving up. It's likely a real breakout and starting to trend downward. Then I'm looking for scalp entries, as they're called scalp entries, but it can get you in and however you may be able to ride, partial position or whatever if that's the move for the day. But it's a way in that situation, right? Let me check the chat. How's it going? Okay. People coming in. Good morning. Try to keep We get very educational today, whatever I can get in this video. Any questions you have, we'll go over. What can we mark up here? It's kind of a really straight move here as far as drawing fibs from a swing point, right? I do like the fake break patterns in these situations. But again, it's kind of sloppy here as far as, we'll have to just let it tell us. As far as marking a resistance, are we using that, right? There's just all this kind of jumbled stuff here. But I'll certainly mark that swing point, and I think I wanted to go with the fib here. It kind of gives us a general area. We'll see if it reacts and respects it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe I should turn that off. Ugh. I have too many lines on the screen. I freak out. All right. That actually bounced up right off 50 fibs, so that kind of confirms that we should be drawing that. That's maybe the only obvious one here, though. And then we got our levels. That was the support term resistance, which kind of lines up with the 618 overshoot if it wants to, again, test that old support before it broke here. So you have a break test continuation pattern and a 618 overshoot, and maybe even meet up with the 50 EMA, right? And you get weakness. That's a possibility for a short there. So that's the approach. It's simply in a downtrend. We haven't seen enough demand where we would want to consider buying yet. And moving up and hitting weakness, which is high volume rejection off these higher prices. Look at the small time frame. But the 1 hour gives us our background. And again, with some demand down here, I wouldn't want to be too aggressive selling unless we really see it disappear. As in low prices on low volume. The 5 minute as we're getting there. So this would be ideal, especially if we get some of this higher volume that kicks in later in the day, you know, showing selling off an area here. So if the US dollar is the main driver of this move, we're probably going to have, then we would have very similar analysis on the other pairs. And there we go. So we kind of don't have to go through the whole thing again, but there may be some clearer levels or some obvious levels in play. No. This is one of those cases where, you know, again, drawing the fib from here, it's already broke. It's just like the euro dollar. It's already broken. It's done with that. This feels random to kind of pick these areas to fit what I want or something. But this is a correct fib, and we're not near that at all. So I'm just going to leave it. Mark up the obvious. But there's a support to resistance there. We can do a break test continuation there, right? But it's going to be similar if it's basically the strong US dollar is making this all this bearish. Where's my dollar index? Yeah, so that's what's driving everything, right? You flip this chart upside down, that's what we got so far. So it's all about what the US dollar is doing. And, you know, the equivalent of what we're talking about is looking for strength, right? If we were looking to buy here. Or the breakout on low volume. So, and the variations that we see on that here are just, you know, what the other currency is showing us. So we have today so far the pound going into new low ground now rather than the euro kind of still sitting around. So again, the same analysis is being driven by the US dollar. So same thing, if it's breaking here and we're seeing lack of activity, lack of demand, it's likely trending down for a while. But if we see demand come in, we confirm a fake breakout and come back up. then we're likely going up. But again, this is not a situation where I'd want to be shorting. Obviously not now. Into these lower prices unless we break out on lack of demand or pull up and get our weakness, right? So that's we've got to do one of those two things. It's either going to go up or down, right? Okay. This is a third direction. There's a fib here for the moment, unless it goes lower. I'll have to update that. Okay, well, there already was that retracement. But I'll mark it up and then get rid of it in case we end up here again today. And then we have this one. Can we? Did we snap? Are we snapped? Oh, frickin' no. Well, I have my thing off. Ugh. Ugh. Off again. It's snapping the candles while I'm trying to draw this box. Where's the laugh track for what I draw in TradingView? Okay. So I expect the dollar pairs to be similar, and then the yen pairs may be similar, unless the yen is doing something different. But very often they're correlated. But dollar pairs, unless there's something really going on, maybe with the Swiss franc news or something, but unless there's something else extreme going on with the other currency, it's dollar driven, and they're all going to be this. Very simple. Going short in a downtrend. Okay. Higher prices in weakness or breakout without demand and scalps. It doesn't mean there's not other cases for scalps, but that's the basic approach here. Magnet. Should I even worry about a fib here? 6-minute overshoot already. Magnet off. Box. Oh, all right. Didn't need that. Thanks. So that's the deal with the dollar pairs. They're all going to be similar. And we'll take in the information as it comes. Again, today, welcome. Good morning. Trying to make it educational and pack in whatever I can. If you have questions, let me know. I'll try to go over some stuff so I can point people to this video when they want to learn some of the basics. What the heck is going on here, right? Basically 3 methods. Let's not confuse them. And what are the basics of the method? The basics. And of course, I have a ton of other videos, so watch those too. What do I think of Richard Ney's work? I don't think I'm familiar with it. I'm in a bubble. So I don't know. Maybe at some point I could Google it and get some idea. If you want to know what I think, I would have to go see it. So that's the case there. And the yen pairs, how different are we going to be? All right. We are locked in. I like it when the market is like this. It's easy, right? Not 4 different stories going on. Everything is bearish. Everything's the same. Up moves weakness. Down moves lack of demand. And I would look for scalp entries in order to get in. Along with whatever else may show up with a scalp opportunity. But that's the basic idea here. So we'll know it when we see it. Things are likely going to move similarly if they're going to continue to be driven by the dollar and the yen, both being very strong right now. Why? Who cares why? If you know why, congratulations. I don't even care. I skipped the why. Somebody else can do that. Very, very strong U.S. dollar and yen, obviously. No sign of that reversing. And there's only so many ways things can reverse. And really, after such strong moves like this, you're going to have high volume, whether it's strength, rejection off the low on high volume, or a reaction or a news thing where you get high volume up moves that lead to regular higher prices without weakness. One way or another, the high volume is going to come in on the if it turns around. If it doesn't, then it's just an opportunity to short, right? If we see higher prices. So in the end, all this stuff is quite simple and routine once you know what it is. As I say, I studied everything, practically everything that exists for trading, and I end up with this. Nothing very complicated. We'll get nice and fancy with colors too. Little eye candy. Oh, looks like I should be shorting. London Open is not still for. There've been some early moves for 17 minutes. Okay, so they're all similar here. Yeah. Nice and easy. I don't have to go nuts and mark them all. This way, if any one chart looks different from the others, unless it's inverse, like dollar Swiss is going to be the same thing upside down. But if it does look different, then you know that there's something particular going on with that currency. The same thing upside down here. That's got the big news coming up. Dollar strong, dollar strong. That's what you got everywhere. Again, in this case, it's getting long in an uptrend. It's just the other way around. And these are some good levels. So that's the idea. Good morning. I guess we're mixing live analysis with general educational stuff. Try and make it a nice packed video. So I explained everything there. And really, it's the fact that we're seeing downtrends. And we're seeing that it's not hitting high volume strength. So we want to stay with that downtrend. Again, going short on weakness is the most common when up moves. High volume rejection of higher prices at certainly key levels are the best, most high probability. Mark them up. If we were seeing very high volume, let's say it's the highest volume in a few days, rejecting low prices, then it's at that point accumulation, right? And we could be looking to go long really at the lowest price we can get off fake breakouts, right? And if you look at the Wyckoff stuff, it's the accumulation range and those tests off the low and the spring, right? Obviously, those are the best entries in that circumstance. And a lot of times, if you don't go into the uptrend, you'll still buy that bottom of that accumulation range, and you'll still get something decent off of that. So it's going to be one or the other if you're trending down. And if you're ranging, and volume says it's really a range because you're not getting any overwhelming strength or weakness. It's just similar or it's messy. Then I buy low and sell high in the range. Now, when it comes to the entries, right, it's the 5-minute chart. Once these levels are marked up, you know your context. And then I spend the rest of the time really just looking at the 5-minute chart because I already know what the situation is, right? And then if we can get to some of these key levels and see the reaction. And whether we move up or down, we get information. We see what's going on. And sometimes here and there you'll get a scalp will appear that you weren't really planning for, but it showed up and the chart says, okay, this is very high probability. It may not be what you were looking for today, but, you know, so there's also that once you learn the scalp stuff. You can't find Discord invitation. Well, the link expires anyway, so let me send you a brand new one. I'll put it in the chat. I have to keep updating the invite link anyway. I think they expire like after a week or something. So I'm going to post that in the chat, and then after the video is posted on YouTube, I'll put the Discord link in the description. And so I pop in there whenever I can during trading hours. Answer questions, and you know, it's good for you guys to post charts and do your thing. All right, let me get that link. I had to email it to myself on my phone. Okay. 1 second. All right. Copy. Paste. Okay. So there's the link in the chat for the Discord group. There's over 100 people in there, and like 90% of them don't even talk. I don't know. So many lurkers. Or do they join and just never come back and forget about it? I don't know. All right, back to the screen there. Jang just joined the server. Welcome. Probably mispronounced your name. So again, if you're watching this stuff, watching my videos, learning this stuff, come to the Discord. Look for stuff together. There's a handful of people in there who know everything the way I trade. So, like, for example, this guy, Carlos Chad. I don't know. Sometimes he's Carlos, sometimes he's Chad. Who else? You guys know who you are. Okay. It's not so bad, John. I don't know what your name is there. John, right? But there's a handful of people who really know this stuff too. You can adjust the settings when you create the Discord link to make it never expire and have an infinite amount of use. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Thank you very much. Link settings or something? I didn't even look. Okay. Good to know. Well, after this, I'll do permanent links. All right. What else? So there's that. Learn from the YouTube videos, the Discord. Obviously, I have courses on my website, which has everything. What's the total amount of hours? You probably get 40 hours of stuff. But the 3 methods. And here's the link for that. Do you have a video about your trading view setup having a hard time setting up the volume properly? No, I'm no trading view master. This is colored volume bars. Just something that comes with trading view that I put on there. What are you having an issue with? You know, just go into the indicators and you can do regular volume. Whatever you need to do there. What's the issue you're having? This actually, there's no point that I'm even using this indicator because it's not even colored. I turn the colors off. So that's just really acting like a regular volume indicator right now. But that's all you got to do. Switching between different broker volumes. Okay, yeah. So I have two here, right? The green is FXCM, purple is Oanda, and also I can even look on my phone with the forex.com, the broker I use to trade. So in the end, I can look quickly at three. And how you do that is just add it here. So if I wanted to add euro dollar, right, you have your FXCM and Oanda choice. I thought they had more. Oh, and forex.com. Well, I have that on my phone anyway. And there's a few others. IDC. Well, they added. So, you know, you pick one, you go back to the watch list, you pick another one. And then I just organize them so it's one broker and the other on the right side, different colors. That was very helpful to do. So again, this is the video I'm going to point everybody to. I don't know. We'll see how it comes out. When I say, Pete, I want to learn your stuff. I'm confused. Or just to fill in the blanks for people. You know, whatever I can. But again, there are three trading methods when it comes down to it, right? What I call the main method, the regular method. And again, for example, today that's going short in a downtrend on a retracement would be the weakness coming in and, you know, using volume and stuff I took from VSA. It's Wyckoff technical analysis. I simplified it. I made it to my liking after years of experience with it. So, you know, like I say, there's some similarities to what you may have learned. Supply, demand. But it's my own kind of thing. Then you have the scalps. Again, we have nice colors, so, you know, it's important. I'm switching to the wrong thing. Think of Christmas. You get good feelings. I'm just kidding. And that's really focused on the 5 minute, which isn't really concerned so much with the background. You do want to be aware of support resistance fib levels. You want to, you know, the stuff that I teach applies to everything. It doesn't all of a sudden not apply. But in this case, you have, for example, right, and the rejection. This is the 14 EMA. And for example, here, if you're looking to go short off of weakness and price is just falling and falling and falling, you're not getting weakness. All right, here finally you get something. That's a terrible place to get in. So the point is, as far as a up move showing weakness, and you're able to get into these moves that look, you know, that your analysis is telling you they're just going to continue, and you're not going to get, for example, today, you know, we're not, if it says we're not going to get our higher prices to get our weakness, and it's just going to trend down. That's the main situation where the scalp entries come into play. And again, they're the 5 minute 14 EMA tests. There's a few of them here. A lot of you already know this stuff, but again, just trying to get the basics out in this video. And any questions you have, and there's a nice little, did I take this trade? No. There's a nice little Morningstar candle pattern, which doesn't have to appear on the setups. You know, there's nothing wrong with getting in here on the scalp, and you got to wait 20 minutes, and then it goes fine. But that does occur pretty often, where it's a nice, maybe gives you some high probability on the entry. So there's that, right? And then there's the cryptos. Cryptos, you kind of can do all three, but the main thing is I'm doing swing trading, which is another thing altogether. I should go, I'll stay on this chart. And we're having some activity now to look at. So, of course, swing trading, hey. And the main thing here is, and to get rid of the moving averages that don't apply here, right? I just use the 100 exponential moving average on the 4-hour chart. And the main approach is to be buying below it, right? Buying below it, buying below it. That's when you really get the discount. So if you look at this whole move up, right? All these great opportunities to buy. And it looks like we're having one again, right? And of course, like I said, there's a course on this stuff. It's hours and hours and hours long. And then there's a ton of classes that we had live that are now all part of the course. So can't get into it all now, but again, the basics today. And so the swing trading, which is really, when it comes to the cryptos, simply put, owning more on the way up than you do on the way down. I never completely sell off. This way, if there's an up move, I'm in it. I made something today. If there's an up move, if there's a move like this that just goes and goes and goes, and I hit some profit targets, right? I'm never closing the whole thing. And then again, that's when I load up once we get under the 100 EMA. And it's swing trading, so I'm not on the 5-minute chart. I'm 99% of the time, I'm just on the 4-hour chart. I may quickly pop in here and see what's going on in some of these areas and see how good it looks on a smaller time frame. Like right now, I could pop in and look at the demand here and how convincing it looks and the supply-demand balance. But it doesn't really matter in this case. Again, the swing trading is that simple with this, where what's the analysis right now? Is it going to do a fake break or is it not, right? That's all you got to know. If this confirms and closes up, maybe even wait another 4 hours and make sure we stay up there. There's a swing entry. But a 4-hour close confirming this pattern. So right now there's nothing for me to do. And that's going to keep me out of adding to this position and buying. If it wants to continue to break test continuation and go lower, that's perfectly fine. Now, as far as buying down here, it typically doesn't spend too long or go too low, but below the 100. But we always have a plan. If it does want to continue down and have some really severe meltdown, of course, there's a plan to buy into these lower prices. And again, it's a lot to get into. But we talk about the immediate area and where you can be pre-positioning, and then beyond that, waiting for lower prices before you do anything else. And again, this is one of those situations where here, this is all, your first proper entries, areas to, and again, if this confirms, depending on how much you may have bought already. But that's where you should be, right, looking to scale in. Now, if it breaks through here, and there's a fib area here as well, then I won't even draw the fib, but then I'm looking at support. And some lower numbers. So, I don't look at a chart and think that this is not possible. Of course it's possible. And I have to be ready for that. And so, again, the way to deal with that is, we have our swing positions that we put in these areas. They've all been paying off every time, right? But you never know, and prepare for anything, and don't get too comfortable, and don't draw the wrong thing. What happened to my other thing? I don't know. Who's texting me? So it has worked out every time, but don't get too comfortable, swing traders. Things happen. I'm still not going short on any crypto till further notice, but whatever with the box. So, what do I want to do in here as far as adding to the position? Again, if it confirms a fake break pattern, and we're in the fib here, that's an opportunity to add. Is there demand coming in? Is there high volume? It's not that high. Yeah, there's demand. There's likely going to be when you reach a level like that, right? Not that high. Look to our left. Look at this stuff. Here's a retracement below 100 EMA, right? These retracements hitting big buyers. This, big buyers, right? Now look at this, right? All right, so we have like half the amount of activity on this retracement than we normally get. So realistically, we could be going lower, right? Again, it's not just, the uptrend and the demand coming in. If the demand is, put it this way, if it's suspiciously low at good prices, it's likely going lower still first before it can trend up again. And it's very low there for such a discount price. So it's very possible. And so having that in mind, I've basically bought what I want to buy here. I have. So if this confirms a fake break, if you're not in it, if you were going in very lightly, okay, you can add to it, right? Add some probability. We get a fake break pattern, we close up. Just checking the chat. All good? Okay, we'll get back to the chat. But I've already bought what I want to in this price area. So if it continues down, I'm waiting until here. I'm waiting until, or unless another support sets up on very high volume strength and a fake break somewhere, right? So I'm not going to go buy suddenly here on a bit of strength and then buy here on a bit of strength, right? So that limits your over positioning. So that's the idea on the swing trading stuff. So, and that also gives you a sense of the analysis right now, which is I have not overcommitted. I bought in this area what I'm comfortable with, and seeing that the volume is really not coming up for such a discount price, I'm waiting. If it wants to drop and drop, I'm going to wait. And when it hits that big old volume off the low, that's when I'll start buying again. And that could be here, right? Especially if you get through, it could be 618. It could be 618 overshoot. And suddenly we see this huge buying that's normally comes in. Maybe it comes in on a 618 overshoot, right? So you get a sense of where we are. It's likely to go lower. It's likely. But if it wants to go up, right? I bought some here. Cool. So position should match what's going on the chart. I wouldn't want to overcommit on this type of thing. And I wouldn't want to not buy at all, because plenty of times, I mean, you want to buy, right? We want to be buying. Okay. Until further notice. As I said, it's now been a year since the course came out. March, the 1-year anniversary. Everybody's been profitable. Nobody said, no, Pete, I have not made money. Nobody has told me that. Anybody here? Just frickin' buy. And they're going to buy the dips and you're going to manage it, right? You're good. Until further notice. But we have a plan for everything. If we want to finally get like a real retracement on this thing, like that would be kind of a big deal coming back to this level, going back to the 40s, the 30s, right? We have a plan for these things. We know. Wait, and what it's supposed to look like down there, and plan out your percentages and all that, like we say. Helpful so far? I'm just kind of running through things here. Pete, what's your trading all about? All right, there you go. This is the video, and I'll say, go watch this. Going back to the chat. Okay, good. Pound CAD short scalping now, says Francisco. Oh, so Carlos, you were talking to him. Okay, because when I saw you must be using another method because there's no scalp entry on the pound CAD right now. Okay. Carlos knows the setups. So yeah, if he's saying no setup, then something's not right. Unless you're just announcing a random short scalp that has nothing to do with this method. But yeah, Carlos, Chad, maybe we'll get lucky. Good luck. Yeah, good luck. I don't even trade that pair. I like to stick to the dollar yen stuff myself. So there's some information, right? And the correlation factor, again, give us a sense of what to expect here. That's the story right now, right? You want some Bitcoin news? I got it right here. I got the headline. You ready? Where are the buyers? Question mark. Look what they do on dips. Look what they did on this dip. 85% chance we're going lower, right? Could kind of say that. So I'm ready for it. That's fine. We can hit this level again and hit this much buying or whatever, right? But that's the story right now. Don't overcommit. And plan out what you want to do at lower levels, and don't overcommit. But again, if you have the course, you know this stuff, and hopefully you spotted this very simple thing. So they're all telling that story. They're all telling that story. Where is the activity down here? Discount. If you put something on sale and the activity, your sales activity doesn't increase, as in buyers showing up to your place of business, what are you going to do? You want to sell it, you're going to have to lower the price. Forehead smack. That's supply and demand. It has nothing to do with Sam Seiden's support resistance glorified. Sorry, I trash everybody. I don't know. Is he still around? What else, guys? All right, should we go to the charts again? Yeah, let's do that. Back to the real charts. Real-time forexes. The last thing about the cryptos is, so that's the swing method in a nutshell. Buy low, sell high. Patience. Spend 8 minutes a day on it. That's it. And that's worked out very well. The scalp entry, I don't really do. It's more of a day trade, I call it a day trade, or the main method. But for the most part, I'm just doing the swing. But sometimes there's an environment, like not now, right? This is not the environment where you'd want to be, we're talking about buying, doing day trades and long scalps while cryptos are in this condition, right? And there's other times where maybe, it's ranging for a while, it's a bit slow, the swing positions aren't really moving for a little while, and, you're sort of sitting in accumulation. Okay, the day trade in and out off of strength, off of support, fake break stuff on a 5 minute setup. You guys, they'll let you know that there is also the condition that is good for that, right? Obviously, right now, it could drop at any point, and I already have my swing positions in to the extent I want. So I wouldn't want to be adding to that and buying on a day trade and just have it all come down on me, right? So that's how I deal with that. Again, shorting cryptos, I have not done yet. I have been wise not to. So far, I've been right. Buy the dips and hold. Buy the dips and hold. But it'll happen eventually. It'll happen. As I say, it could be in a few months. It could be in 10 years. When Bitcoin's at 500,000. I don't know. Who knows? Chart will tell us. Chart will say, this is a real chart now. It's got downtrends, right? It's got 3-week-long downtrends, right? We should be buying and selling. Okay, we'll get there. Right now, I still don't want to be doing that. So this is what I do, and it works. Yes? So again, today's the cram in all this information I can. The educational video that I can point people to understand what the heck's going on here, right? Join the Discord, talk about it, learn it. Buy the course, don't buy the course, watch the free stuff, whatever you want to do. All right. So the analysis on these guys, let's go back to that. Looking to short, up moves on weakness. If we don't get an up move and we just move down, and some of these break out into new low ground, for example, like that is, and we're not seeing demand, and we think it's a real breakout, then I would look to short in a different sort of entry, the scalp entry. We could also have climactic strength down here, or maybe on news. That would be looking to go long, but that is not the case yet. But we did test we'll go through it and see what we did so far. Euro-dollar dipping into new low ground. Okay, so that's very telling. Okay, so we do have high volume down here, right? So as I said from the beginning, if we break into new low prices, well, that's London open. So we're going to get a spike this time of day no matter what. So we can't take it too seriously. We'll see the result. But again, especially if we have an upward result without supply, we'll have to take that demand seriously. But if we get into lower prices and we don't see volume increase, and now we get past the London open spike, we get to find out, then it's likely a real breakout. But yeah, that's the thing with London open. You're going to get high volume no matter what. So I wouldn't be fooled that really this is strength of that magnitude that I can really trust. It's always going to be high volume. It's a pain in the ass, right? When London open is testing a level, that high volume means something important, low volume means something important. And then it's just London open, so it's going to be high volume no matter what. So let's move on. 13 minutes into the session and move around and we'll get to find out what's really maybe going on down here. Get a drink. How's the music world, do we? Not yet. So, I started early today. So we're just getting the London Open 14 minutes ago and the London Open volume right now. So let's just see when the volume is trustworthy again, what it's telling us. We have our analysis in place. We know what we're looking for. Strong US dollar, strong yen right now. Looking to go with that, unless the chart suddenly says otherwise, which would have to occur on high volume. Reversal situation. Good morning. London opened an hour ago? How come Forex Factory told me it was 15 minutes ago? Isn't there the time change? That's what I originally thought. Let me check that again. Guys, can you confirm? I hate this time of year when the world changes clocks, but not at the same time. Can we get that together? Can somebody fix that? Come on, who's going to do it? The UN? Can we fix this? I thought it was going to be an hour ago, and then I checked Forex Factory, and it said, no, London Open is 4 a.m. for me, still. I go, still? Okay. What the heck? Come on now. Yeah, it's saying London Open was 16 minutes ago. Well, let me check my clock on Forex Factory. Is the clock off? No. Can you guys confirm? Or maybe you're uncertain. Forex Factory said London Open was 16 minutes ago. What time is it in New York? 4:16. It opened 15 minutes ago. Okay. Yeah, Francisco, what you're talking about is gonna be the case once everybody's done changing their clocks. Okay, thanks, guys. Yeah, that's what I thought, and I checked Forex Factory just to make sure, because I was actually thinking, oh, did we change? But then no, Forex Factory confirmed that. Yeah, okay, thanks, guys. Yeah, it will be an hour earlier for some people, whenever, soon. I guess next week. So just check Forex Factory and make sure that your clock is synced with the clock on the website, and it'll tell you. Which I double checked today, yeah. I had a split second of excitement though when you said that, because I'm like, wait, so if this much volume is coming in and it's not London Open, we're going long today. All right, we got a setup. No, it's not. Like, all right, man, nice clear move from the market. No, it's the London Open volume. Okay, that's what I thought. Certainly means some strength, but again, it's exaggerated. That's the thing. So now we're 17 minutes into the session, and we can start to trust, what we're seeing. And if we go lower and volume stays high on the higher side, then we know we could trust that there is really demand. It could completely drop off and turn into, down here volume and into lower prices, and we'd say, okay, that's likely a real breakout. Trend continuing. No, all good. I've got it wrong too. I've had those days. I show up for London Open at the wrong time. One time was when, for some reason, Forex Factory clock wasn't synced with my clock. That happened once or twice, and I didn't check because I had the setting on not the right one. It didn't adjust for daylight savings automatically. So yeah, I just got to check that stuff. All right, no rush. I kind of like starting early because we had our analysis. We want to get through this initial high volume. And let's see what we get now. Also cramming in the basic educational stuff today into this video. Pete, what's it all about? Go watch the video I did on March 25th. Will be my answer. Any other questions? Were there any questions in the Discord that I think somebody may have asked? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more members joined. Welcome to the Discord, everybody. You know what we do? We just read a chart. Talk about facts. Talk about what the chart is telling us. Not much interpretation. A little bit of discussion. Nobody's calling trades. Nobody's saying, guys, do this. I popped in here and there, checked out some other trading discords out of curiosity. And yeah, it's crazy to kind of be giving orders to everybody. Some of them get a little weird. This is like a study group, And I'm just the leader by default because I started in 2003. And I figured out how to be profitable. So by default. And some very smart also people in there too as well. Yeah, 21 minutes into London Open now. So come join the Discord. Come join. All right, very good. I think what you'll find with the method is you finally feel like you know what's going on. It doesn't mean there's always a trade. It's nice to know not to trade sometimes. But you know what's going on. Even if it's chaos. Some dude's taking a trade and you're sitting there going, no. Don't do that. Because you actually know what's going on. It's not indicators. Wow, we're getting some differences in movement here. How exciting. So the euro's dropping 21 minutes after the hour. No news. Euro is dropping against everything. Or at least not moving up. And then the pound, the Australian dollar. Let's check the dollar index. Had a bit of a drop. Well, we know what to do with higher prices, right? Looking to short. So let's see where this goes. Check that news again today. 422. No. There's high impact news. The only high impact news of the day is in 8 minutes. Swiss franc, aka chef. So there is that. The one high impact news of the day. 7 minutes. So let's see if euro is approaching the 50 EMA on the weekly. That's why the down move is so strong. That's why. Let me see. The U.S. dollar and the yen just became weak in the last 5-10 minutes, but the euro is also weak, so it's either stuck or moving down. Let's see what it wants to do. So no news, real deal stuff. Sometimes price can be stuck, and you get a move like this on news, and then you go back to being stuck. This is not news, so that's a good sign that we're going to be moving around, right? So the highest volume. I'm on FXCM? Yeah, okay, wow. Highest volume of the day. Nice. Besides that, whatever the heck that was. So we'll see what's going on. If these up moves are on, exaggerated high volume, especially if the candles start to become more normal sized, then we know there's supply coming in, selling coming in against the rally in large amounts, and it could turn around. We do have this area to consider. Maybe he wants to go to a 618 overshoot. Do I have to update that fib off the new low? No. Very good. So we had the plan for if price wanted to move up or down. Right now, everything's moving up against the U.S. dollar, except the very weak euro. So we'll see where all this leads. Yeah, there's a lot of buying and selling that suddenly happened. More buying, but certainly selling as well. If you look at this candle, it's really not that big. But the amount of volume on that. That's London Open. So it's almost as big as that. So we could very well get the short setup off higher prices. Fib areas, fake breaks. 5-minute setup pattern. What did I mark up here? Like, I didn't really go nuts and mark up every little thing because who knows which direction it was going to go, and I'm lazy. But if we're moving up, let's get it all in there. And these levels are going to tell us about sellers. We already know this up move, has a bit of selling against it. That's why the volume's so high. If it was simply just, imbalanced, more buying than selling, we wouldn't have to have such high volume on small candles. This one's not that big. And we'll see if we can get to these key levels and see perhaps a reversal situation. And again, that's just going with the trend. Once we get the imbalance of more, we get selling than buying, weakness and lack of demand. But in a downtrend, the higher prices are good. As long as we're moving up, we wait for a potential top to form. Maybe take a scalp long entry. I've gotten very comfortable with the scalps and doing, I don't know, crazy things. It's not, would you consider it crazy? I don't know. Like buying on the way up. If there's just no supply coming in and it's likely getting to fib and there's a scalp entry, it's all logical and based on the same things. I'll catch 8 pips on a scalp. That's fine. I keep my stops small. Question above. How long do you spend watching the charts, and do you mainly just London Open, New York? Usually what I do is London Open, I kind of make sure I'm there and see what's going on. And then, like I used to do, and I might go back to it actually, I don't know, we'll see. So I stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday by subscription. So I was always there. And then once I do my initial analysis, it's really, if things are not close to setting up, I can set alerts. I can check in every 10, 15 minutes, watch something and do something else until something important's going on. But typically it's, London Open until 10, 11 New York time. Veteran moves? What's that? You buy pound yen every day this week. Carlos Chad, who knows what he's doing. Every day this week. In a downtrend. The pound yen moves big too. You caught this move. Those are big pips. It's like 70 pip move. Let me see a 5 minute. This week I've been on and off. Yesterday I was doing other things. On and off. Going long in a downtrend. You get a pass. You can do your own. You can do lemonade trades. Start giving you lemons to make lemonade. We've had those those trades in the sessions before. Because I teach all this stuff and then I do something that makes people go, "What? Why are you doing that?" Shh, don't worry about it. You're buying at a 618. It's moving up to a 618 and you're buying now? Pete, I'm confused. Don't worry about it. Is that what you're doing? You're just taking it and running with it. Those aren't the cleanest setups there. In a downtrend? You're crazy. Yeah, the scalp entries get me going any direction. I don't care about the background. I just care about the next 5 minutes. And let's see from a scalp perspective, like where we are. I need to put back my 14 and 50 EMA. I don't really need that EMA, whatever. It's colorful. Feels like Christmas. Where's my thingy? Oh, trading view. So from a scalp perspective, many of you know. But if we're trending down, we're expecting a trend down. The pullbacks, this is the 14 EMA. In this case, obviously, with this much demand, hey, it's 420. With this much demand, I would not be looking to take the next short scalp. So that's very good to point out for those learning the scalp method. The highest volume of the day so far, and we have confirmed a fake break pattern of the low of the day. So we got the bullish pattern off of the highest volume of the day. So I am not looking to have this, if it comes around and confirms the short entry, let's say it gets squashed here and confirms, to sell into that. Now there are times where I will sell into strength. I've learned to bite something and just do it because I know how dependable these setups are. But you have to have a limit, and this much strength coming in, I would not sell into that, Like after this, maybe, After this, yeah, sure, maybe. So, but the euro is doing its own thing. These guys are really starting to move. And so from a scalp point of view, it's really trending environments. There's a low volume breakout of a range trade, but that's kind of the second entry that comes less often. The main thing here is if you're in a trending environment, and again, you just expect that trend to continue. How do you get in without being a chaser or noob, right? Oh, it looks like it's just going to keep going. I guess I'll buy now. It's the logical way to deal with that situation, right? So in this case, we're choppy, right? We're not trending if you look at the structure right now. We started to here, pre-London, and then, London open is here, and now we're doing this. If we didn't have an issue with that and, we continue to trend down, obviously we'd be looking for short scalps potentially. But in this case, there is no trending situation. Now, if it turns around and starts trending up and we're not seeing weakness, and we're zigzagging up, then it's perfectly fine. Look for the long scalp there, right? And again, it does work together. There's no conflict with the main method, right? Because if at some point these higher prices show weakness, well, we just switch right back to this and say, okay, where are those levels that we're looking for weakness? What did we mark up? And going back with the trend and all that. And looking for a regular entry that way. So sometimes as you're waiting for a setup, you can get the scalp. Plenty of times I'd be a situation like this where I end up in a long scalp, right? And then the short setup never happens. And okay, good. I had a win. Well, I waited for a setup that never came around. I had a win. Well, the price was going there. You know what I mean? That's happened recently. These scalp entries are also good when you have a market that can't figure itself out. It's just going sideways, chop, fake breakout, doesn't know what it's doing. And finally it figures out what it's doing. And it's not based on any clear background. It's not based on any genius analysis. It's just, okay, I guess we're going this way now. We finally broke out of this chop crap, right? Again, the scalp entries will get you in without being like a noob just chasing breakouts or something silly, So again, today is the cram in the basic education into one video day video. Watch the YouTube videos. Join the Discord. Here's the website. Buy the courses. Don't buy the courses. Marcus. Wait, did I skip? I gotta make it. Sometimes I skip. I gotta make sure I check everything. Oh, the veteran moves. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, the lemonade trays. Yeah. Yeah, but then they make sense. You're like, wow, okay, that's the next level. No, I'm not there yet. Pete, why has Bitcoin declined with no real show of weakness at the tops? We have to go back to the chart. But remember, the short answer is trying to catch the turn on the daily trend. The short answer is that, I mean, obviously, price can move down, not just because there's a lot of selling increased, but selling increasing only to a, moderate extent, and buying not showing up. And there seems to be buyers not so interested up here. They want lower prices. The big guys want to buy Bitcoin lower, and all of them. This is what they're talking about right now. Let's buy it lower. It's time for some real retracement here. Most likely. That's what the chart is saying. So if, again, I don't know if you saw it earlier, looking at the volume on the dips, the last few dips that have happened in that uptrend on the 4-hour chart, and how much buying came in compared to now. So the markup activity, the buy frenzy, the woohoo, Bitcoin's going to the moon, they chilled out with that. They want lower prices. This seems to be the case. That's what the chart is saying. Let's chill out with this constantly making new highs and all this. That's the impression I get from the chart. Let's take a break from that. It might come back. Might not. For a while, whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, it's like when you see, you gotta kind of split the difference between holding on to these positions until you see weakness, and then really listening to that weakness and starting to close some and saying, we're at a really high price. And I have a plan to be taking profit at certain levels, and I'm going to take some of that. I'm going to sell some of this Bitcoin off, even if there isn't a huge amount of weakness, just because it's there, and we're up. Let's take some. Price goes up and down, both directions. But yeah, that's the sense I get off the charts right now. These buyers are being patient. How would that work with a limited supply of coin, especially if everyone is holding? How would which part work? Which part? The down move? Well, there was some serious dumping going on. I think somebody's posted an article in the Discord somebody shared, but you can see it in the chart. There were some dumps went on, and that can create a sort of a chain reaction of selling. But there were some dumps. The buyer's buying that which is not possibly available. If it's not available, then it's marking up until it is available at a higher price. The buyer's buying that which is possibly not available. Yeah, if it's not available at the current price, then it has to tick up until there's enough willing to sell to them. So, they literally mark up the price as they enter. Is that what you're asking? It's always available. Everything's for sale, man, as long as the price is high enough. You know what I'm saying? That dude who bought in frickin' 2016, maybe he's ready to dump at 60,000. I don't know. But yeah, no, you raise prices enough, you'll always find a willing seller. Sometimes got to go to the moon to find them. What if I told you Get out of your house right now. Sell it. You're like, I'm not selling my house right now. I live here. It's all good. I'll give you 10 times the amount. You're out. Here's the keys. Supply, demand. All right, so scalps are not happening because we don't have a trending environment for that sort of thing. I've been posting lots of scalps in the Discord. So if you want to look at some of these scalp entries, go to the steamy hot scalpers room and scroll up, and you'll see maybe 7 or 8 scalps recently that I posted the entries. So you get familiar with that. This is not that environment, right? Likely happen eventually, but we're just choppy right now. And again, if we're moving up, we may be just looking to go short in this downtrend. If we're choppy, then let it figure itself out. What is this crap, right? Some crap. So the noobs, what did they do so far today? They sold here on the breakout. Then this hit their stop loss, and they bought. And now their stop loss is here. Don't be that person, right? I keep switching that when I mean to switch this. I gotta get used to this setup. And again, I talked about this already. Because of the very high volume demand, to this extent, very high, right? That's 20 minutes into London session. That's not London Open. So that's legit high volume. So the next scalp short, I skip. I wouldn't want to sell into that much demand. And that scalp short, by the way, confirmed here. It's really close to the low, and it's a terrible low to be buying into, right? But we have a downward structure. It's pre-London. It's small, right? So it's a low-quality, terrible trade. But just to point out, right? Lower lows, lower highs. And again, being able to test that 14 EMA and come back around. Test it and come back around. And it's likely going to the low very quickly when that happens. There's a quick move back to that support. Here, right, you get there quick. You get there quick. Those are the biggest red candles in this downtrend. Is once it rejected the 14 EMA and went back to the support. Quick. Reject it, go right back. So that's the scalp, right? But so again, here, you would get in here. Reject 14 EMA. If it goes higher, that's fine. And then, right, quickly down to support. So again, highest activity of the day was buyers popping up here. So I wouldn't be doing that now, right? Okay. Sometimes you got to live with a bit of demand down there, but then not that much. That's too much, right? Again, here, this demand actually followed through and gave us some higher prices rather than rejecting and doing that pattern. We're in an area where potentially, well, we get high, and we'll get on the other charts. Get high, all right. And we can see if there's short setups. It's nice to see uniform, weakness coming in at these key levels. We're just kind of at the first opportunity to tell us about sellers. The Australian dollar not hitting so much. That would be a fib there. So if we have this sort of strong up move, right? We had the strength and some of the 420. Here's the 420 high volume here, which led to a higher close on less volume. So it's strength, right? Strength. So I'm not looking to sell in this area. And this strong buying may very well bring it up to here for the short. Now, if we sit around here and it turns into weakness, lack of demand, right, that's different. But right now we have the highest volume leading to higher prices where they have less volume. So I wouldn't want to be shorting just yet. And then this low and this close to that demand that really popped up. If we can get another leg up, right, it's a better situation to look for the short. Which is, again, if we go over here, kind of what we had. These areas. I don't want the fib, I want the line. There we go. Doesn't have to be fake break, but it happens so often I draw it. But it could be a simple double top there. So we're not far from some of these good areas, potentially just short if things behave right when we get there. The euro's weak, and that's getting squashed. Now, again, something to point out. I talk about this, make sure everybody gets it. The euro is weak, right? As far as, besides the US dollar and the yen, which are making everything bearish here in the overview, these downtrends are caused by the strong US dollar and the strong yen. So, if suddenly we look at the euro and we go, oh, the euro has a short setup right here. Oh, it's a fake break, right? Squashed, it's likely coming down. Now you're counting on this coming down because of that, right? While the other ones may be saying, yeah, it's not time to come down. It's not time to come down. So that's a euro-driven situation rather than what's driving everything, which is the US dollar and the yen. It's weak euro driving that situation. Those tend to be more short-lived and less dependable. If you're shorting here, you're betting that from a 1 hour point of view, this is your main target, right? You're going to bet that for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 hours or whatever, or 2 hours, however long it takes to get there, that the euro is going to be weaker than, in this case, the yen. And just because the euro is so weak and that's what's getting you in, right? I don't trust that as much. If generally everybody's seeing a reversal type of situation, they don't all have to be setups, but they all have to be suggesting that the US dollar, right, is going to be strong, and that's why we would want to be shorting. Then it's a better situation. It's more dependable. That also goes for the scalps, where you're looking at a correlation to certainly help. Again, you could have had this. See, the setup played out, but I skipped it because of the danger of that. But there's the scalp, and there's the quick move from the entry here down to the support, or 1 pips from support. I'd probably be grabbing it right now, just closing some off if I entered that scalp. How big is it? 1808, and support is 6 pips, 5 pips is what it is. Some are bigger. But they are quick and dependable when done right. Even when done wrong, apparently. And a lot of times you're catching, it could be a continuation and all that. So it's a good way to get in if you also just expect things to run off. Any questions? What's happening? Sold. What's that? Oh, yeah. 10 times the amount? Yeah. Well, Bitcoin was at 5,000 1 year ago. And then 50,000. So that 10 times offer actually happened. Podcast time? Oh, gosh. No, this is the educational video. We're talking about shapeshifters and the deep state. Same thing. So again, scalp entries for trading environments. We're so chop here. There's no opportunities for that at the moment. If we continue higher, we could have the main method shorts. Okay, well, if we don't get a setup, whatever, as long as it's educational, this video. Any other questions about things? Anything else to go over? I think that covered a lot. If you're just kind of trying to figure out what I'm doing, there it is. Want some music? Roll Dewey. Mr. Chad. Carlos, are you going to take this pound yen long scalp if it sets up? On the record? It's possible. No. You know, with the strong downtrend and that weakness and a fake break possibly here. Not the greatest probability, right? I'd rather be shorting with the trend off this level. True. If that weakness wasn't there, obviously, yeah, that would be fine. But there may be a short setup here, which of course you know that. 14 EMA is right. It's going to decide life or death right now. It's all about that. Some of them look better than others. As in, this doesn't look so hot. Here's our test for buyers of 14 EMA now here. We'll see. They could turn into no demand and then come down. They could move up and not see selling and continue up. Whatever. We'll see but that's the test. Spot. Man, that euro is weak. But the support keeps finding buyers. That is not a spot to mess with on the euro right now. It's kind of choppy, sloppy today, you know? And I get pretty aggressive with these scalps, but... That is the cleanest chart kind of right now, technically. I see why you're pointing it out. Exactly, yeah, the EMA test. Let's see what goes on. Very choppy, sloppy today. I thought it might be good. It's Thursday. There's not any big news we're waiting for. But if you start from London Open and see what we've done, gosh. Choppy, choppy madness. No thanks. As I say, let them figure it out. At least it's moving. We could have worse problems. That we're just stuck everywhere. But we're moving, and we're moving without news. No problem. It'll clean itself up. It'll figure itself out, right? One way or another. But yeah, choppy, sloppy. We've been seeing this lately. This is the latest thing, really. This is what it's going to do. This right before London kind of, ooh, that was some nice stuff back there. And then we get into London and it's choppy sloppy. Really? Is that the thing now? This is traditionally the absolute worst time of day. Look at that scalp right to support zone. It's better than now. This got lower lows, lower highs a few times. This crap, like, literally, I wouldn't even know to go long or short right now, right? Would you rather buy or sell right now on this thing? Dead center of the range, too. It's got to figure itself out. But that's all right. We're here for the education, and we're cramming it in. Anything else? I think it was good. We covered the basics. Charts look terrible today. Yeah. That's the look on the bright side. Is at least it's moving without news, so it should figure itself out. Once price reaches, do you have to see low volume? The volume question about the scalp entry. There is no volume requirement. What? I thought volume was everything. Volume was the answer to life and the afterlife. Yeah, I researched and observed for years at this point. It's like it's like if you're driving, you can go left or right in order to get to the destination. They both have legitimate routes, but you end up without a definitive one or the other. So, for example, if you're looking to short scalp, and there's an actual reason for that. What should I use here? The plentiful setups yesterday here. So let's see, right? 14 EMA, kind of dropped, kind of normal. Let's see. Nothing that exciting. This stuff had weakness. Some weakness. Not a definitive thing. And the thing is, like, okay, take it for what it is. There's some demand here. And in this area, starting here, 14 EMA, and hit the 50, came back. And that's also a test. So this is all testing for sellers. You can get a situation where, yes, sellers could come in and give you a spike in activity or whatever. But the alternative is also that you're at a test area, so the buying that goes in stops its activity to test. So if you're buying here, you're buying off support, you're buying off a setup, you want to test these, you want to see what is going to happen at these levels that tell you about sellers. And the pause in buying met with some selling could kind of shift things back to the downside. And it could be a low volume event where the buyers stop because they're testing, and the sellers, there's a little bit of selling now, which is now more selling than buying, which is all it takes for the price to come back down. That's the only logic I can get out of it. But there's not a clear volume signal. Now, if you're going further, like fib retracements and all that, fine. Where you would want to see, like, let's say you're looking to scalp here, or it doesn't confirm or whatever. There's too much demand here, but and then you're going higher and you want to short, like that stuff. You're gonna want to see weakness. And we're talking about that today. In this case, there wasn't, and it continued, but. Like the stuff we're saying, if it's going to go higher into some of those fib retracements, key level, whatever, support to resistance, or then you're going to want to see the higher volume. But those moves, if you also think of it this way, like whatever, if you're looking to buy here, an actual large volume sign of demand it really is typically at lower prices. You have to move down to find that much demand that's going to give you a spike in volume. In this case, we had one here actually, but normally you have to go lower to really find those buyers. They're not just all of a sudden going to show up so high up. But still, these moves occur, and they occur. So it feels like just a shift back the other way. It's like a subtle shift, but again, they're quick. You see how this is one candle that got you right from here to here. It doesn't mean your entry is always going to nail that, but you see the nature of how it moves. But it feels more like a subtle shift, but somehow quick at the same time. I mean, there has to be traders trading like this and programs trading like this. It just happens constantly on the chart. So pound yen, we're talking about that. This is a test here for buyers. Now there's the weakness, fake break pattern. And when you see high volume like that, as we've been saying, it does take away the quality of the trade to see some weakness there. If that volume was just average along with the others, and there wasn't a fake break, bearish pattern, then it would be a much better situation. As well, we're not really trending up, zigzagging up, higher highs, higher lows. That is also missing from this situation. Right? We were actually trending down or whatever, drooping, and just one pop. So, not quite good enough for the scalp, right? Because of those reasons. Now, what could clean it up and give you the next one before you know it? If things really figure themselves out and it wants to be bullish, you do that. You have less of an issue. It doesn't have to be low volume and great. If there's a bit of weakness, but it's limited, it's okay. It's a bit of an increase. Fine. Right? And then you're good. Looking for the next one. If it really figured itself out, it says it's a real breakout. But this could be this could be a fake break, right? All that stuff I said. Not trending up very well structurally. Again, the way you want to feel, that's not a good word. The way what you want to conclude about the chart is that this is a runaway trend. You know, it oscillates up and down in waves as trends do, but it's just going to go. I need to get in this thing. That's the ideal. If you don't feel that way, if that's not your conclusion, right, it's probably a pretty risky scalp. Good talks, good questions. That would be 100 times better than the next one after the breakout. Yeah, and if it didn't have an issue with weakness, you got an uptrend structure. Maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up, and you're catching the fifth wave, whatever. It all becomes sound at that point, you know. Now you got a mixed bag. But you know how many times I talk, you know, I see this and I go, okay, that's not good enough. And it goes anyway. And that's fine. I learned to live with it. Because once you start taking those risky scalps, you got to keep your standards high, you know. But I'm really good at sticking to, important talking about scalps, the risk-reward stuff. I have a emergency GTFO, basically. It give or take, it depends on the pair. Pound yen is much different from the Australian US dollar as far as pip count on these size of moves. But generally, 12 pips, that's like, if you're scalping and you're down 12 pips, you better get the hell out before you start erasing 2, 3 of your wins with one loss, right? Can happen quick. So I immediately set my stop at 12 pips, the most. Sometimes it doesn't even call for that. 10 pips, 9 pips, 8 pips. Immediately get it in there. And it's based on what, you know, chart analysis of levels, areas I can get my stop. But sometimes I'll just throw it in and say, okay, 12 pips, I'm going to get it in there real quick. And then I look at the chart and say, you know, I can get away with 9 pips on this stop. If it goes beyond that 9 pip point, the whole point of this thing is over. The high probability is gone. Why hang on for the extra pips? So when scalping, right, if you haven't learned the hard way, don't learn the hard way. Keep the losses small. Then when you're up 10 pips, you close it. You're up 7 pips. I'm out. It's stalling. It's reversing. It's hitting a support. I'm out. And if you have one more win than loss for the day and you're up for the day, you're doing your risk reward right. If 6 wins, 4 losses on scalps, should be up, right? Doesn't even have to be some huge, great 95% win ratio. You could even scale out, okay, this trade's going against me. I'm down 8 pips, I'm closing half. I'm down 12 pips, I'm closing the other half. So really you closed it somewhere in between, right? Because that's the nature of scalps. Don't turn it into something else. It should be quick and to the point. If it's messing around going against you, nah. Cut it, move on. Because the really good ones, sometimes it plays out really good either way, but the real stuff you want is the stuff that goes right into profit right away. There's a reason why you're doing this exact spot. And it feels good. It happens a lot. You hit enter. I set my stop and my target. Then I swipe over on my phone and say, okay, where am I? Oh yeah, I'm clearing spread already. Oh, I'm up a pip. Oh, I'm up 2. Those are the best scalp entries. 5, 6, 8 pips, 9. I'm taking it. That's what you're looking for with this stuff. Don't mess around. You've been in the trade 40 minutes and you're down 3 pips. Just close it. You know? What else? I don't want to focus too much on scalps. That was the last video was about that. But as long as I'm not repeating myself, right? It's all good information. Yeah, today is just this choppy sloppy. Can't figure itself out. Where's the trend going for the day? We're literally back at, you know, where we were for the open. We tried moving up. We tried moving down. We came back. This guy hanging out at support. What a mess. As far as a reaction to new low prices, yeah, buyers, sellers don't know what they're going to do. If I had to get into a trade, I swear some of these I really would just have to flip a coin. What are you going to do here? I would buy here. I would buy. Pop to resistance. That's 4 pips. It's the Australian dollar. You got to watch that one. But then you get some good ones. Here you have the downward structure. You get some good ones. That structure doesn't have to be perfect, but the more lower and low, lower highs, the better. What can happen a lot on the structure is, okay, lower lows, lower highs, those are the best. And then you get a high and a fake break. Maybe some weakness on it. And then a confirmation. But that reaction, double top, fake break, right? If you're going to not see lower lows, lower highs, maybe you get a double top, fake break. And that can help you confirm an entry is still good. It's a bearish pattern. It's likely going to support after that, right? I'm cramming it in. What else could I get in here? Back to the questions. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Getting there, 1 second. All right. I'll catch up with the chat now. All right, who do we got? Where did I leave off? Charts look terrible today. FOA scalp would have to receive blah, blah. What's the definition of sloppiness? Sloppiness means chaotic. But normally you get, in the market, some sort of patterns and clarity. And then sometimes you just sort of jump around here and there with no real consensus and clean situation going on. And I don't try to make that into something, Marcus, how are you? When scalping, if price gets past the 14 EMA, do you still take the same entry pattern at the 50 EMA? No, I do not. That's a good question. Has to be the 14. That's where that high probability kicks in. Churn or chum? I can't tell the way it looks on my... Because the RN could be... Churn. Must be. So Marcus, yeah. The 50 EMA is more like a support resistance. See what goes on there. Get that information. You know what it's for. Maybe you see weakness off of that. That helps you, because you're going up higher. Let's say we're looking to short. You'd be pulling back a little higher up to that 50 EMA and maybe a little fib area. You want to see a bit of weakness. And in that case, it's more of like, think of the regular entries, the main method, which is 14 EMA. It's the same thing. They come together. But yeah, you'll notice. And I entertained that idea for a little while. And I said, no, it's not happening. Once you break that 14, right, you look back through the charts, that's when you get that quick move, high probability thing. Where can we see scalp entry examples? I posted a bunch in the Discord in real time. So, do you have that? Are you in there? Here's the link again. And there's a chat room there. Sauna, steam room, red lights, weirdos lurking around. That is the scalp room. So if you go in there and scroll up and scroll up and scroll up, you'll see a bunch of pictures of entries. So if you hear what I'm teaching today and you look at that, you start to get the idea very clearly. And of course, there's the course available too. Don't be mad, I got to put this in now and then. Marcus, very good. How often do I go down to the 1 minute? I always get curious. I always want to see it. I wouldn't say always. Nah. How often? Yeah, at least half the time. Sometimes it's so good, so clean on the 5 minute. You're like, yep, I'm getting in. Other times, right? That's when you don't look. Other times you're like, maybe. Let me check the 1 minute. Well, the 1 minute looks really good. There's a pop of weakness at the 14 EMA, and the 1 minute that didn't show up on the 5 minute. Maybe I'll take it. It's kind of like that. A little extra information if you feel like you want to see it. Sometimes it'll tell you, no, 1 minute is saying, nah, it's no good. It's confirming that it's not good enough. So where are we now? We're still, I can't believe we're still in this area now. Because we had volatility, right? It was no problem that we wanted to move. But we're at the same price at London Open and Asia Open. It's all here. Same price. Yeah, they got to figure it out. The wise thing to do here is nothing. I was saying as a joke, if I was forced to get into a trade, I'd be buying here for a scalp of the high, and that pip count was like 4 pips. I wouldn't even do that anyway. That's the best trade, right? What happened to the pound yen? Wait, wrong broker. Awanda is nice, and then it's weird, so I don't know. Back to FXCM. Yeah, the deciding factor, 14 EMA. What does it want to do? That's why you asked me about the 1 minute, because you're looking at the 1 minute right now, right here. buyers aren't excited. That's the first thing. They didn't jump all over like crazy. I do like the doji here. That could have a bullish result. It's not exactly the morning star or evening star stuff, but yeah, you start to recognize these things. The doji and then the pull away. You want to buy into a fake breakout, fairly high volume weakness in a downtrend without an established. I was trying to talk you out of it if you are looking to get in. Yeah, it looks like either go either way. If volume's going to drop off here, obviously it's lack of demand with weakness and fake break and all that bear stuff. So that could be a short entry. Where are we on the bigger picture? We marked up levels. I keep doing the wrong thing. I need to be hitting this. Slightly different when I stream. Pound yen. 1 hour. Oh yeah, what was that? I'm not really convinced either way. Also, the market right now is just in a state of uncertainty, chopping around and all that. I mean, you look at these charts, you can't guess where it's going to go in the next 15 minutes, most of them. And I learned in that environment it's probably best to just wait till it starts to figure itself out. But let's see what is going to happen off of the 14 EMA test. Volume did drop. When's that news, by the way? High impact news. Oh no, we got past the high impact already. Okay. Uh, 12 minutes. Medium impact news for Euro, Pound, and Canada. And light impact for Euro and US. So a fair amount of news coming up in 11 minutes. You also have that factor. Well, hopefully the news will help the charts figure themselves out, which really comes down to the US dollar figuring itself out, right? Isn't that what it comes down to? Here's the market open. It's sideways. It doesn't know which way it wants to go. We're back where we started. We tried one, we tried that, and then we're back. Comes down to the US dollar and the yen, which are probably going to have a similar result once they figure out what they're doing. But if that's how much is connected, right? If this drops, does this today, there's very likely going to be long scalps against the US dollar on the pound, Australian dollar. If the euro's not too weak, maybe. But that's the weak one, so I wouldn't really be looking at that first right now, unless that changes. And if we continue up, hopefully we get back in with that trend and be able to short the other pairs. And maybe we can do that by coming down and doing that, and of course that would lead to the setups in reverse on the other pairs, the dollar pairs. Ooh, wrong broker. Yeah. But this is weakness and fake break bearish pattern with a fair amount of volume. If it was larger, it would be even more bearish. But there's a fair amount. We're in a downtrend. So there's a lot of bearishness going on. This is the pausing of the selling and testing for buy activity. And it's not very high. If we want to pop up, maybe we'll see weakness again and then get through this area. At this point, this is technically an automatic support, right? We'll call it that. This is whatever you want to call. Buy climax, weakness, supply. Lots of people hitting sell button. And those who chase the breakout, they don't know what they're doing. But our highest volume since that top is actually at the 14 EMA. Ideally this would be green volume, right? some buying, but it's fairly quiet here. Now, if we break through this on low volume, is that the deal? Are we going for it? Drop off even lower in volume on the break. It's likely coming down. And that's pound versus yen. Has the yen found its direction? Do the yen pairs look bearish? Yeah, possibly. We know we're in the downtrend and we've seen some weakness. If we went higher, it would probably be more weakness and a little better probability on the setup. Kind of put it that way. If I get in this low, maybe I'll do a smaller risk. See this again. It's really not a bad spot to go short. More volume on this would be nice, but it's early. Well, let's see the news in 8 minutes. Could change everything. Euro news, U.S. news, pound news. 7 minutes. Put on some music while I do it. Yeah, you could take an hour nap. Mr. Francisco, you just bought a small position on the pound yet? I have to wait for that 100 times pound yen scalp. Are you trying to start the podcast conversation? I see what you're doing. No, I did not. Do I look like a guinea pig? Just kidding. No. Yeah. My friend did. He got, the usual reaction. He's fine so far. He didn't morph into some sort of beast. Everybody says the same thing. They feel like they got punched in the arm. It must be pretty bad. The arm pain, because people complain about it. So for a few days, his arm hurt, like he, was bruised, kind of hurt. And then he slept a lot, I think. No, he's fine. Now he works in the food industry, so probably better. Maybe they made him do it. I don't know. Can you do that now? I hope that's not happening. If you want to work here, you gotta get the vaccine. That better not happen. Don't get me started. We're gonna look back on this video, and we're in 5 years, we're gonna have our mandatory vaccine in order to move about. We're going to have our social credit score in order to move about. If you have a really high social credit score and you really say the right things online, you may even get privileges. God. Please, humanity, stop this. Yep, I know. Yeah. That's how it's going to be. It's one little step at a time. That's why I said 5 years, 8 years. Little tiny things. Oh, it's just to travel. It's just for airline. Okay, well, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm probably temporary. And then do the next thing and the next thing. And then there's a third wave and they finish it off. I don't know. The vaccines are out, though, right? It's supposed to work. Are we good now? I don't know. See? I mean, it accomplished kind of what it needed to, if you think about it that way, short term wise, without getting into too many things. It accomplished, at least, if the vaccine's out, it all fades away and there's no more corona stuff, a year, 2, 3 from now, it's all over. It did accomplish certain things. It really did. I can make a list, if I probably think about it, of 10 things that they got out of it that were very important to them anyway, including a hell of a lot of spending and where that money's going right back to them and their buddies. A lot of stuff. The election. All right. So anyway, election infection. Have you heard that one? It did what it had to do, at least in the short term. Oh, don't get me started. Make me bite my tongue. Remember the trade deal we had right before with China? Too good to be true. Was never supposed to happen, was it? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because that's off. That got canceled real quick. Nay, demand. I think this has a better chance of coming down now. And I say that because this is all testing for demand here. And it's pretty low volume. Pretty quiet here. 1 minute says. Meanwhile, we're focusing on this kind of mediocre situation because everything's so choppy right now. Yeah, you kind of have this going on. Again, 14 EMA test, and so from a 1 minute point of view, you kind of got that going. So not much demand. Or demand. Either one. Where'd my line go? It's in there somewhere. Shortly short? What is everybody else doing? Freaking euro dollar, give me a break. Figure yourself out. Yeah, maybe. You still have automatic rally, automatic support to get through. This 14 EMA break is not a proper short scalp. Sort of, but not. It's very close to the low, too. Yeah, it's only a few pips off the low. So it's really, we're a little desperate out here. I don't think that's good. But I covered, I think, a lot of good stuff, especially if you're learning the method, learning what the heck's going on here. Methods, there are 3, but they're all based on the same stuff. What else? About to take a nap and let this shit. Yep. I do that too sometimes. Flip a coin. Heads we sell, tails we buy. Or even making it more interesting. I'll buy, you sell. Or whatever. We'll do the opposite. Somebody's guaranteed to win. You like those odds? All right, I think we did some good stuff.
Right now, feels like the world spinning out of control. Oh, wait, it is hurling through vastness. This dark abyss.
That news was 3 minutes ago. I was just looking at the Discord, like, where's Mr. Dean? Well, you made it. I was thinking about ending it. Anything you want to go over? What I did was go over the basics. I know you know a lot of this stuff. Any questions you have? Next leg up's retracement on pound yen will have my full attention. Yes, exactly. It could be a good short or a good long, all depending on what happens. But this isn't bad as far as the volume showing. Demand is pretty low. If the supply again comes in here, and you know that that's what occurred down here, you're looking pretty decent to come down. And from the overview, it's a nice spot in the downtrend. Oh, stop. But yeah, to sum up, it's back. It's really where we started. We didn't do much. Moves and weakness. Some of these have some nice potential spots still higher. If we go a leg up and maybe hit some weakness there, maybe even into the fib. This is still low to be shorting, right? I short here, but only when it's very out of balance. Really, really lacking demand, all that. But in the bigger picture, again, the up moves and weakness to go with the trend. Bitcoin. Any developments? I don't have 100 EMA on this. Yeah, as we were saying, basically, looking at the reaction to this new low ground, and that there wasn't much buying here compared to the other dips, and it may go lower. Buying may show up at 618, may show up somewhere much lower. So I'm not buying any more in this area with this situation here. Besides what I have already. Right now, I'm, whether you're talking about swing trading or a day trade, not going long on cryptos. The lack of volume at these low prices, if you look from a 4-hour overview, is a little concerning there. I do not want to get caught long in this situation right now. Which one did you mention? Ethereum? You know, this retracement is comparable to these. Maybe they're a bit more extreme. But this gives you the sense that these buyers might want some lower prices. This one may look slightly better, but yeah, they're not all over it. And since I have swing positions in long, I don't want to be also taking a day trade long and then see them all, everything start moving down. But putting that aside and just looking at it, yeah, you have the fib, you have strength. The at least the short term projection is to move up from here. Yeah, of course. That's there. But that's where I kind of settled with when and what the time, like when am I doing day trades, these sort of trades, where, okay, maybe it just does a fib retracement here, that's fine, right? Get to this area, this is a perfectly good trade, but, or to the top, and then, continue down, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm doing that not in this environment. It would, where I just loaded up to some extent on my swings on a down move. I want things to move up with these positions. I don't want to also add to that and start buying here. Again, there are other cases that are different where things are very bullish, right? You get regular fib retracement on an uptrend, a small thing, and you get in for the day trade. Or you have times where your swing trades are just sort of going sideways, and you can be buying off the low, off strength, in a range. That's the way I'm dealing with it. But of course, what you're pointing out is, yeah, a long setup, right? But that's why I'm not taking it, yeah. Still kind of settled on these things. It's like 3 different methods, and then it's really just swing on the cryptos, but then 2 methods in forex. But then you also have the day trades in cryptos. You could even have a scalp. But when to do those on cryptos in the context of what I'm holding in my swing positions and what's going on, yeah, that I'm kind of figuring out. There's time to do that, time not to. Makes sense? That's kind of where I settled with that. Because for a while I wasn't even like taking those kind of trades on Bitcoin. I was just letting my swing trades ride. Every day I was like, all right, we're still going up. All right, I'll end it in a couple minutes. Let me know any questions. Discord link once again. It's very cool in there. I would like, feel free to be active and mark up charts and post them, and if you're considering a setup, and discuss it. Everybody's at different levels in there. Some people really know what they're doing. Some people are just learning. Nobody's calling trades and doing nonsense and getting all freaking emotional and posting emojis and memes and acting like children, like I've seen in some others. The Lamborghini conversation isn't constant about what car you're going to buy and this and that. Give me a break. Discord is more active on days with streams. Oh, is it? Cool. So yeah, that's my request. If you're learning and you haven't paid a dime, and you're saying, well, this is good, I'm learning something. If you want to do something, post in Discord, get it going, help other people. You guys all work together, figure it out. Yeah, I did a good packing in of information in the beginning of the stream, yeah. Euro dollar still a mess. It doesn't know where it wants to go today. Sideways chop. Another thing about these scalps, just to mention this, ideally you want the moving averages, not the 100. That's really not necessary. Oh. Again, it just helps the probability. You want the moving averages on the proper side. If you're shorting here and the 14 EMA is up here, you've kind of lost the proper structure that you should be in to be doing things. It's actually kind of incorrect. It should be 50 EMA above to tell you that you're actually in this sort of trustworthy, flowing trend. You pull up here, may suggest you're not in the best trending environment. Meanwhile, it's going to drop while I'm explaining that. That's 14 EMA, that's why. That's all. That's the whole damn reason. Why don't we go down to support? Because we finally closed below 14 EMA right there. Got all this time, but that's the close below 14 EMA. And now we're here. Can't underestimate the importance of that freaking thing. And the 50, right? As choppy as this looks, and that's kind of clean. But yeah, hopefully we get a better sense here of what these scalps are supposed to look like from everything we went over today. Again, the Discord, I posted the link there. I'll also put it in the description. Has lots of pictures of scalps. If you scroll up, you'll see a bunch that I posted in real time. All right, guys. There's the website again. Happy trading. Yes, you're going to take a nap. Yeah. I'm up. I have energy. You know why? Because I'm on a no-carb diet, and it's amazing. Shit was messing me up. I'm good now. All right, guys. I'm probably going to work on some stuff for a little while, and I have to also keep an eye on the charts. But I will try to pop into Discord. If anything interesting goes on here and things can figure themselves out. We'll also have the U.S. news and all that. I'll try to pop in there. Okay, guys. See you soon. Thanks for coming. Try the no-eat diet. I can't do that. Protein and salad. That's it. Vegetables. All right. See ya.